All right, guys, so without wasting time, let's go straight into the breakdown. So this is a system that's allowed me to go from a broke university student to a successful graphic designer. And by successful, I mean hitting 5 figures a month consistently, having 1K days and becoming a 6-figure a year designer. And here's the proof, screenshots on screenshots of notification on my phone, my highest month being 17,000 K in pounds. And here is certain days I hit 1K, certain days I do 2 commissions, I hit, 590 pounds, and so on, so on. And something I want to mention is that I've been able to do this without no paid ads. Like, I don't run no paid ads. I don't use platform like Fiverr and Upwork. I genuinely hate those platforms. And even without like a portfolio. And this is so funny because like when I tell people that I don't have a portfolio, like till this day, I do not have a portfolio simply because I'm so focused on the content side that, a portfolio just never came into my mind. And also the way I see it is like graphic designers stress over like a portfolio, but they don't have no clients, so like don't be that type of designer that's stressing about making the perfect portfolio and you have literally no clients. Okay, so focus on the content. And once again, I literally started with organic content, which took me from being unknown in my niche with 1K followers, and this is my page before, and this is the after, which is now more than 40,000 followers on Instagram alone. I think on TikTok we're about to approach 50,000 followers as well. By the way, this all happened in less than a year, and it all started from me focusing on the market that I was going to go and service. Okay, and I am in the fashion brand niche, meaning I work with clothing brands. So I do t-shirt mockups for them. I do anything garment related, I do that as well. I've done even loafers, I've done shoes, etc. So I do not design for everyone. I choose one market at a time. And that's very important because there's many designers out there that just focus on doing thumbnail design. They do this, they do that, but go after one market. And that's what I've been able to hit very good numbers with that precise market. And simply because, and also the other reason is because many people want to become brand owners, but of course they don't know how to design. So I'm the one doing the design for them. So when your work speaks to everyone, it becomes invisible. When it speaks to one group, it becomes relevant. It's not about limiting yourself, it's about controlling attention. People know me because they know, okay, cool, Emmanuel knows how to do t-shirt designs. So that's very, very important when it comes to this whole system. You need to focus on one niche, pick one niche and stick to that precise niche. So on to the next step, which is content instead of marketplace. One, like I mentioned before, having a portfolio, sitting on a portfolio, trying to make it perfect whilst you have no clients is literally the dumbest thing that you can do. Focus on the content side. Literally, that's the way, because we're using organic content, we're not running no paid ads, we're not going on Upwork and Fiverr, wasting credits, wasting money on that. We're not doing cold outreach, meaning like we're not messaging people, begging them to work with us. We are using content to show up in the For You page of our clients, okay? And as you can see by, the views that I get, 600K, 20K, 50K, that's on me designing. Guys, like how many people are gonna sit through like 20-30 seconds of me making a t-shirt without being interested in the niche, or being other designers or being like clothing brand owners? So like this is very specific to people that need our services or our designers trying to copy your work, okay? So those are the only 2 people that are gonna really sit through this, okay? So this is really targeted, and if you get this amount of views, you can imagine the amount of inquiries that you can get from this type of videos. Once again, no Upwork, no Fiverr, no cold outreach. I use content, so short form, high frequency, and proof driven. The goal is not to go viral each single time that you post. The goal is to stay visible long enough to compound. Content replaces, once again, portfolios, and content replace proposals, okay? Because we are not reaching out to people. And when it comes to content, there's more to it. It's not just about posting stuff that you see on my page, of course, because it won't work precisely for you. There's more to it, there's more I can explain, but I don't want to make the video so long. I have a private community where I literally go through how to post, what to tag, the niches to go after. And so let's go back to the system. So once you have the attention of people, once you gather this amount of views and this amount of people that is, watching your stuff, you're gonna get naturally inquiries. Okay, once you get the inquiries, you have to be able to take a stranger to a client. Like, you can't just like message the person and be like, oh yeah, do this. You have to have a system, and that's what most people are missing, is literally taking that attention. They might get views, but they're not able to convert those strangers into clients. So attention creates messages, meaning inquiries, but those inquiries are not clients. Not everybody is going to be clients. So you don't have to chase, and you don't have to convince. You have to filter for who has budget, who is serious, and who also respects your structure and the way that you work. So most designers lose money in DMs, and the structure prevents doing that. And being able to scale to the point I am right now, I have created a structure and a template on exactly what to say, how to spot red flag clients, because you're gonna have people that are just gonna waste your time. So I have loads of PDFs literally structuring the whole thing. And that leads on to the next point, which is the pricing. Graphic designers don't know how to price their work. And it's very, very weird, because I never understood that. Like, you literally just have to pick a price and see if people pay. If people don't pay, just lower it. If people are paying and they say your work is underpriced, you have to raise the pricing. Very, very simple when it comes to pricing. You have to take some type of deposit. You can't just start the work and hope that person is going to be honest and pay. That's not how the world works. You're going to have honest people, but you're also going to have majority of people trying to take advantage of your skill set, because your skill set is very important. So when it comes to pricing, it's very important that you nail this part, because it's the difference that makes from, a 6-figure a year designer from an average designer out there. And this is a screen grab on how much like the average graphic designer out there is actually making. So as you can see, a beginner designer makes $20 an hour to up to, the advanced, which senior designer, which make $50 or $150 an hour. Linking back to, the payment screenshots and how much I charge, guys. Some of these payments are for design that take me an hour. So in an hour, compared to your senior designer out there, I make more than double the advanced senior designer. And that's because I'm very fast when it comes to the completion of design. And that, by the way, like, speed is something that you're gonna build over time. Besides the actual artwork and what you actually making, speed is also needs to be applied when it comes to revisions, when it comes to communicating with your clients. You have to build speed in everything that you do as a designer, especially if you want to scale to 5 figures. That's the main difference. An average designer is very slow in everything that they do. It takes weeks for them to complete a design. They're slow in their communication, etc. So you have to really build in speed into your graphic design business, and that's something that you can train. And it's not something that I was already an expert at when I started out. You really have to build the endurance, and that comes from repeat work, and that leads into positioning yourself. One of the components that actually makes me different, especially in my niche, that I'm very quick to complete projects. It won't take me a week to complete projects, so that's something that people see as premium. Okay, if you're able to be quick, create outcomes that are very good, you're gonna be positioning yourself as a designer. And that's exactly where most designers fail, because they position themselves as an average designer, meaning they take ages to complete a project. They don't really care about details. They don't really care about how the work is perceived, etc. And to really drive home this point I'm trying to make, I'm gonna make an example from a different niche, but still related to the creative niche, which is music. And 2 different artists, so Drake and 69. So Drake is seen as the GOAT, is seen as the greatest to ever do it, is seen as a guy, if he gives you if he says, oh, I'm gonna make this happen, he's gonna actually do it. Whereas 69, no offense, is seen as kind of like a little bit like a clown when it comes to music. And once again, no offense to him, like certain songs I listen to him and whatnot, but when it comes to him compared to Drake, is seen in a different light, simply because of how they position themselves. You want to position yourself as a Drake in this particular niche of graphic design, because you want to be the designer that everybody respects. You want to be a designer that clients respect. You're going to be a designer that if he says, okay, cool, I'm going to charge this, that's exactly what they're going to charge. If you say, I'm going to deliver in 4 days, that's how long it's going to take you. You don't want to be, the designer where people see as like, okay, cool, he's uncontrollable, he's emotional, he's, you know, you want to be the Drake of this design. And there's a lot that you can draw from this comparison, a lot of inspiration when it comes to positioning yourself as a designer. Proof compounds. Once you build this reputation about you, once you work with, you know, clients, and, you know, by the way, this is all my work that I've done for my clients. I've had, you know, designs that, you know, Jake Paul has worn, which is this t-shirt that I made for a client, you know, H, which is an artist, and many you know, celebrities that can't fit on here, and hopefully one day Drake as well. But yeah, you know, proof compounds, because every payment becomes proof, every testimonial strengthens your authority, every result becomes your future content. You know, all of this stuff that you see, I've used as content. I've shown, you know, prospect that land on my page that I've done designs for other people. So everything compounds, and you have to be able to document all this process as well. And once you're able to document the process, once you position yourself well, once you're very quick with replies, and once you're very quick with, you know, completing projects, once you're very an expert on pricing yourself and structuring, you know, a pricing that fits you, and you don't follow this type of pricing, but you follow pricing like this, where like you charge a lot for your work, but also is worth it, you're gonna be able to have outcomes like this, where like you're able to make 5 figures a month, okay, as a designer, and you're able to scale to, you know, many followers in your niche and be seen as an expert in your niche. And the outcome is gonna be of you hitting consistent 10K a month. Without using Upwork, without using Fiverr, without working for an agency, without, you know, begging his people DMs to work on a project with you. And by the way, luck happens, but like that shouldn't be your aim of being always lucky. Of course, I couldn't go into extreme detail. Like I said, I have a private community where I go into, you know, video breakdowns of like how I actually design, how I make, you know, all the templates I send to clients, and all the communications and stuff. So if you want access to the private community, make sure to check the description, and that's where you're going to be able to access the community. And yeah, that's essentially all. Hopefully this blueprint was, this system was very insightful to you, and you're able to grab some nuggets that you can apply for your design business. That said, that's all for today. See you in the next video. And in the meantime, keep creating.